Welcome to watch this video about HTML and JavaScript programming. Today we are going to study an HTML page called GuessAWord.html. In this example page you will see how we can create HTML elements with JavaScript and how we can handle many buttons with a single function. Also, we are going to study some array methods. My name is Kari Laitinen, and this example page can be found at naturalprogramming.com. So if you first go to this site, naturalprogramming.com, and then if you click this web icon, you will find this web programming page, and this link here leads to a list of files, and there is this file GuessAWord.html, and you can download it on a Mac you control click it, or in Windows you click the link with a right mouse button. So I have already downloaded the file, and I have it here in this editor, and I can also open it with this browser. Let's see. So I'm going to open it. It's here, and I open it, and the page looks like this. So this is quite simple page, so that it says that each hyphen sign below hides a letter or a word. Try to find out the word by pressing the buttons. So I have a list of buttons here, and if I press the button, and if the letter in question, if it is contained in the word that needs to be guessed, then the letter is put visible on the screen. So I actually know the word already, so it's quite easy for me. So the secret word is the Vienna, the capital of Austria. So there is always the same word that needs to be guessed here, and well, this is quite simple page, but you can, if you do the exercises related to this page, you can develop this into a slightly more complicated game. So this is the page. So there are buttons. So there is the word that needs to be guessed, and then there is some explanations here. So let's take a look at the source code of the page. So again, there are the normal things at the beginning of the HTML file, and I have some comments there. Then I have the style definitions, the CSS definitions or declarations, and then I have the JavaScript part, and then there is this the body of the HTML document. And also inside the body I have some JavaScript here. This editor doesn't show the JavaScript so well when it is inside the body element, but well, we can still read it, I think. So let's take a look first as this body. So that I have a div there, and then I have an h1 element, and then I have another div. So the first div contains these explanations, 2 lines of text, and I also have a extra line break there, so I can make a little bit space there. So the first div contains 2 paragraph elements, and then I have the secret word. It is initially hello, but the JavaScript modifies it so that it will be all underscores or hyphens. So this one here, so this text here, it is, or if I reload it, it's all hyphen characters or hyphen signs. So this text is the H1 or heading 1 element, and then I have again a div, and inside the div I have this piece of JavaScript code, and this JavaScript that is inside this div creates the buttons that you can see there. So, and as the comment says here, when the JavaScript is written this way inside some element, it is executed where it is located. So when this page is loaded, this the browser automatically executes this JavaScript code. And here we have an array or initialized array with name letters, and here inside the array I have all the letters as strings. So I have all the letters, and then so they are separated with the commas here, and the values are inside brackets. And then I have a for loop with the index variable called letter index, and I go with this for loop, I go through this whole array. So I start with the index 0, and I go as long as there are letters. Oh, what is the length of the array? So the last value for the index will be the length of the array -1. And I also increment this index there. And then inside the for loop, or the internal statement of the for loop, is document.write call, and this means that I write with this, I actually write the HTML code. So I have the HTML code as a parameter for this method, and inside this string I specify a button element like this. And the content of each button will be a letter, so here I refer to this array with index, so I pick one letter from the array. So each time this loop is executed, or each time this internal statement is executed, one letter is picked from the array, and a button is made. And here I also specify a method that will be called when the button is then clicked. So I say that on click, and then I have the method call here, like this. And you can see that I have to put some extra, because when I specify a button, I have to put some I have to have the double quotation marks around this call, and when this is now inside a string, and the rule is that the double quotation mark would terminate this string, but if I put a backslash character before the double quotation mark, that means that it is part of the string. So when I need to include double quotation marks into a string, I have to use a backslash character before the double quotation mark. And this double quotation mark is then the character that actually terminates the string. And normally I use the plus operator to join the string from the array and these strings that are specified here. So this is how the buttons are created, and actually there is an error here, so that there is this letter Y missing from here. So I could do so that I will, let's add the letter Y here. So like, sorry, no, it's letter U. Sorry about my English pronunciation. So now all letters are there, and if I save this and I reload this page, you can see that the letter is there automatically. So in theory I could create very easily much more buttons here, but this is what we need right now. And here I also have one line of code, and I write document get element by ID and secret word text ID. So I refer to this h1 element, and I set here the inner HTML of that element. So it is hello there, but then I just use the array that is defined earlier, and because that contains the hyphen characters, I just join those and I create the string. This join method is actually quite so this is guessed characters. It is defined here, and so the word to be guessed is always this string Vienna, and what I do here, I go through this word to be guessed, the whole, as many characters there are in this string, and I put equally many hyphen characters or hyphen strings into this array. So at the beginning this array will contain as many hyphen characters as many strings containing a single hyphen character as there are characters in the word to be guessed. So with the push method I add one more element to the end of the array. And so when this statement is executed, I use the join method, and the join method actually joins all the strings that are contained in this array, and it joins them so that they put nothing in between. So if I would write here something like XXX, for instance, let's try it, and I would reload the page, you can see that now this XXX is between all these characters that were taken from the array. So I don't want anything there, so I will just use a empty string there, like this. So this is an array method named push, made join, and the other array method that is used here is the push method. So so there is only this in this program. There is only this word to be guessed, and these guessed characters, they are public data items, and this function is executed once at the beginning, and then I have this function. Oh, sorry, this is not a function. This is just a loop. It's executed once at the beginning, and then I have this one function handle button press that is called when some of the buttons is pressed, and I specify it here that this function will be called. And it is also very important to know that this word this is written here like this, and so this word is then it means that this when you write this here, it means that you get the reference to the HTML element that that originated this call. So in practice, it means that this is a way to get the reference to the button element that was pressed. So inside this method, we have a parameter that gets the value or reference to the button element, and in the button element there is this this text content, and you can well, it is called a property text content, and you can read this property, and then you can find out what letter was selected. So this variable will then contain the string as a string, that letter that was selected, and then we just have to check that if this letter is among the letters of the word that needs to be guessed. So what we start doing here is that we have these guessed characters, and we go through this array, or we let the index get all the values from 0 to the last position of the array, and then we will check that if the word to be guessed contains at that index position, if it contains at that index position the selected letter, then it means that the user had made a correct guess, and we have to update the array that contains the hyphen characters so we write the selected letter to this array of guessed characters. So this will actually destroy one underscore from the array. And as we go through all the characters of the word, it means that if there are multiple instances of a single character, all will be replaced in the word. And then, of course, we have to modify, because we have these guessed characters, but we have to modify the element in the page so that we will update so that, for instance, if I guess something, we have to update this element on the page. So we again refer to with this, we take this get element by ID and we use this secret word text ID and we rewrite the inner HTML. And again we use this join method. So this is basically the same thing as at the beginning. At the beginning this contains just these hyphen characters, and then later on it will contain also hyphen characters and the guessed characters. But it is the same statement here as there. So this is basically how this page works. And of course at the end we can still play the game, but nothing happens because all the characters have been guessed. So then on this page we have some CSS declarations or definitions which specify how these HTML elements look like. So let's go through all these. So I have this class centered. So this will affect all elements that have this definition class there. So and basically all these elements belong to this class. Centered, centered, and centered. I have to use because the other way to define these things is to use the ID, but if some element needs to have a special ID, then it can't have another ID. So for that reason I have to use this class here. And when you specify a style for a class, you use a dot here. If you would specify something for an ID, then you would have this number sign. Well, I specify that the text align is center, and this margin is top and bottom margins are 64 pixels, and the other margins are automatic, which means that this thing will be centered on the page or in the page. And then I use this font family, monospace characters. It means that all characters have the same length or width. Well, the whole body is white smoke. It's quite not very much different from white. And then for this H1 element, I have the font size that is 2.8 times the normal font size. And I have a little bit letter spacing because there is, so I put a little bit more space there so that the letters will be not so close to each other. And then I have this definition for the button elements. So all the buttons have are 28 pixels wide and 36 pixels high, and font size is this. The text color is blue, and the background color of the buttons is yellow-green. And then I also have specified the button for the button element this hovering feature, so that it means that when this mouse cursor is hovering over the button, then the opacity of the button background is less, which means that these buttons are a little bit transparent. So with this I can get this effect that when I move the mouse cursor here, the button over which the cursor is located is a little bit light. So I think this is this page. As I said at the beginning, this is a very simple page, but if you do the exercises related to this page, then you can develop this page into a kind of game. And so at the beginning they are hyphen signs, these. Maybe I said sometimes that they are underscores, but they are different characters than underscores. And of course there are also there's in this inside comments here I have explained what other possibility there would be to make this array guessed characters. And of course there would be also other ways to make this, that you would create this these buttons. So some people might say that it's not a good programming practice to have this JavaScript code inside an HTML element. So it would be possible that I would have a separate function that will create these buttons, and I could call the function when this page has been loaded. But you will see in other example pages, you will see how that is done. So I think this is enough about this page. So what we have been studying here, we have studied creating HTML elements with JavaScript. We have a function that can handle many buttons, and we used some array methods here. So I thank you for your interest about this page, and we will probably meet in some other video. So thank you and goodbye.